Thank you and welcome to another episode of Grappling with Grace podcast, Jiu-Jitsu Culture Edition with my very special guest, Professor PJ Barch. Is it Barch or Bark?
Barch, yeah.
Barch. We're having that conversation in the car. PJ Barch. And PJ, before we get started, I always read off everybody's bio. So here we go. PJ Barch began wrestling on the East Coast at a young age, becoming a state champion and All-American before competing Division I at Bloomsburg University. After starting MMA in Hawaii and going undefeated, he transitioned fully into jiu-jitsu, dedicating himself to the art at 25 and going on to place top 4 at Abu Dhabi twice. Is that correct? Yeah. Now 36, PJ is a black belt under Eddie Bravo and Richie Martinez and one of the most respected competitors and coaches in the no-gi game. PJ, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's jump right into it. So before medals, before 10th Planet, before the nickname, who was little PJ? Who were you growing up?
Yeah, man. I pretty humble kid, from more or less the country.
Nice. So what part of the country?
In Delaware. So I'm from Pittsburgh, but my family moved to Delaware.
All right.
It's kind of where I was raised for the most part.
Okay, so did you grow on a farm or what was that?
Nah, not even. Actually, it's kind of a weird situation because I was 3 miles from the beach, but it's like a beach where there's a lot of people there in the summertime.
Okay.
It's cold, so it's a quiet place most
nice.
of the year.
You know,
a lot of farms though too, but not exactly where I was.
So I grew up in San Diego all my life, and I did a sabbatical for a whole month. I went to the Ozark Mountains for a month, and my contention is that we're not supposed to live this fast like we do on the coast. That lifestyle living in the Midwest, it's a little slower pace. I didn't have any anxiety. Everybody was loving. I was in a town of like 35,000 people, but there was like 15 mega churches. And I asked, there's a mega church right next to you. You don't see that around here, right? And I asked my therapist I was with, I go, why is there so many mega churches? He goes, because all 35,000 people go to church over here. And I was like, that was cool. That was awesome. So, Professor, what kind of kid were you? Were you calm, wild, introverted, competitive?
Like you said, I do think that there's more anxiety out here, but there's more boredom maybe in those situations. And especially for a kid like me who didn't necessarily know how to maybe always process and deal with emotions and deal with boredom, and I think I've always been a seeker, of things to do, energy, very wild kind of ADHD and things like that. And
brothers and sisters, or are you single?
I have a sister, yeah.
Older sister, younger sister?
Younger.
How was that?
Yeah, great, man. We had a great relationship. I watch all the home videos and stuff, and we had a good relationship. She got mean towards middle school, but
they all do. Yeah.
There.
So, who raised you? Mom and dad?
Mom and dad.
Mom and dad. Okay, yeah. Okay. And what's your first memory of struggle growing up?
I don't know, man. Maybe first memory of struggle. This is cool, man. I don't know. Maybe bullies in elementary school a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that I feel a little bit of struggle with that, struggle with fitting in sometimes, especially when I moved from elementary school, which was near the beach. So it was a little bit more, how do you say,
maybe laid back?
Yes. And there was a little bit more money and things. It's just a little bit more upscale, I suppose.
Sure.
And then when I went to middle school, I ended up going to the middle school that my dad moved there to teach at because they were doing some sort of program where my dad's a teacher and they offer you a lot more money to teach at these bad schools.
Sure. I've had a few of those programs, yeah.
Yeah. And so my dad took that program and I ended up going to that school because my parents, they thought about private school and stuff.
Right.
Couldn't really afford it.
Did your father ever homeschool you at all? Or no? Oh, no. I homeschooled the boys. I homeschooled the boys.
Out here, everybody does.
Yeah. It's the California school system is pretty horrible.
And they pay really good subsidies to parents for their sports and all this.
Yeah. I'm actually, side note, for my kids' program, if you become a vendor for homeschools, they pay top dollar. Yeah, they pay top dollar.
But so it was. I went to that school. I ended up going to that middle school, and this was a very eye-opening and tough experience in some ways, for sure.
Well, so speaking about that, when was the first time in your childhood that you ever felt tough? Did you ever feel tough as a child?
I wanted to be tough for a long time.
That's good. I wanted to be right. Yeah.
And I fought a lot of people until I felt tough.
Right.
And I got in a lot of fights through middle school and stuff. But then I think, after a few years of wrestling and puberty and lifting weights, probably like 10th grade.
10th grade. Did you play sports at a young age?
Yeah, I played a lot of sports.
What was your time like in sports at a young age? Was that you wanting to, or your parents forcing you, pushing you in?
No, they didn't force me to do any sport in particular.
Yeah.
They made me play a sport year round.
Good. Yeah.
All times.
I agree with that 100%. Yeah.
To keep me busy for sure. And, from a young age, I was playing all sorts of sports.
Nice. What was
gymnastics was the first thing I did, soccer.
Oh, really? How long did you do gymnastics for?
A few years, probably.
Before anything?
Yeah, at a young age.
Any kid that's ever come, so I've been open 15 years. Any kid that ever comes to my academy that has done gymnastics before, 10x ahead of the curve.
Such a good base.
It's an amazing base.
Yeah.
I had a little girl who, I guess because gymnastics here in, I had a gymnastics place right next to me, and they started them off at like 2:30, 3 o'clock, at 3, something like that. So I don't start them until 4. I had a little girl that came in and was just wrecking little boys, and it was amazing. It was amazing. So how did the wrestling shape you as a young man?
Wrestling was really important to me, man. I think.
Let's talk about that.
I like my. So for one, my family wasn't from that area, and it's not a melting pot like it is here.
Yeah.
And so everybody kind of already has their niches and their people and their whatever it is. And I didn't fit super well into any of those categories. I didn't not get along with any of them.
Right.
But wrestling was the first time where I think I felt like I belonged to a group.
Yeah.
And then, so the community was big, the friends were big, and then obviously building skills that, like I said, I got in a lot of fights before I was wrestling.
When did you find out? When did you know you were good?
Yeah, 10th grade.
10th grade. 10th grade. Yeah. You started winning a lot more matches.
Yeah.
Tourneys. Yeah. What was the change in that? One day you're losing, you just never stopped. What was that like for you? You seem to be the type of person that doesn't ever quit. You should. Yeah, I can already see that.
Psycho.
Yeah.
It was tough through middle school. My dad was a wrestling coach as well.
Oh wow.
So
okay.
He was quite good. He's a good sports player, and these kids, they would flunk off the basketball team, didn't even care about wrestling at all, but matured so much faster than me.
Yeah,
and were so much stronger than me. I was a late bloomer, and I wrestled off and on from a young age. The 5th grade. I was a young kid, but not serious. I never took it serious like the other kids. I never got forced to do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I played a lot of sports too, so I had a lot of interest, but I did care about it, especially because my dad was there, and I did it for a long time. And these kids.
So was your dad your actual coach?
He was a coach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He wasn't the head coach.
Okay.
He has been I don't know. He's been coaching. He coaches all sorts of stuff. But no, he wasn't very. My dad was not super involved in my stuff.
Okay,
that's what we're getting.
Yeah, that's kind of what I get at. Yeah, so that's actually one of the.
I had a ton of freedom.
Did you? That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the reasons my kids trained with you is because. So my kids grew up. They're both jiu-jitsu world champions in the kids division, right? And as they started getting older, my oldest one wanted to start doing MMA, and my youngest one kind of had an epiphany of what he wants to do in his later life. He's going to the military soon, but he wants to be a pastor and then come back and open up a bigger gym. And it's look, guys, my focus is military, law enforcement, self-defense. That's my focus. If you guys want to start competing again, we have to sit down and really discuss where we're going to send you guys. And both my kids wrestle. I was PJ's right down the fucking street. Let's go, It's one of those dynamics where it was so hard as a father. First of all, at one point I had the biggest kids program all over Southern California, and we were up and down the coast from San Diego to San Francisco every weekend. And I burned out. On that, as a coach can do sometimes. But it was always extra hard on me when one of my sons would lose, because now I'm not just a coach, I'm also a dad. And that's that was very hard for me to deal with sometimes. And I know it was hard for my kids to accept every once in a while. My little guy, when he would win, and he was a fucking stud, whenever he would lose though, he would look at me and go like this and tell me I need a couple minutes by myself. But when the dad in me wants to go and hug him and pick him up, he's just he would do that. And So you and your father didn't have that dynamic. You didn't have to worry about that. That's good. That's really good.
He's a chill guy.
Yeah.
He takes me wherever I want, like in terms of like for sports.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, and gives me little bits of advice here and there, but like I can probably count on two hands how many times he gave me like clear advice or instructions. Right. And like it's very subtle too. He'd tell me like, what makes a good wrestler is a kid who has strong forearms and a strong back.
Yeah.
And I remember taking that in like whatever middle school or something and being like, okay, how do we do this? You know what I mean? Like, I bought every gripping apparatus and put a pull-up bar in every go away. You know what I mean? It was like, so like it wasn't a lot of advice, but I took to like the few things that he would say and do and stuff.
Let me ask you this. What's the greatest piece of advice your father ever gave you? Just for life, just in general. What's that?
I mean, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I still have really strong forearms and a really strong back, man. Everybody says like your grips are crazy. Your back is huge. So it's taken me this.
I love that, right? You can apply that to anything, right? That's good. So let's kind of break it down a little bit. As a young man, for you, what did being a man look like to you at the age of 14, 15? Like what to you was a man? So I'm going to be 50 next month. So for me, I grew up in the 80s. A man for me was like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Rambo, Rocky, these big dudes. That's what a man was. A man had a bunch of money. Hulk Hogan, that was a man to me because that's what I grew up in. For you at a young age, you said you kind of felt tough. You knew you were good at in the 10th grade. Who were you looking at as a role model for what a man should be?
Yeah, it was confusing, I guess, man. I don't know. You know what I mean? Because at times it was like honorable people, doing honorable things.
Yeah.
And at times it was like great sportsmen, you know what I mean? Like guys that are, whatever you're talking about, like Bruce Lee. Yeah. But then at other times it was like cool, like drug dealing rappers stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like these guys that like, I'm like, man, they don't seem to care, but like they don't have that much stress, it looks like, or something like, and I felt like maybe like I was overthinking a lot too much growing up. Yeah. And I was like, man, it looks like a nice life, whatever they're doing. Yeah. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So, it was confusing growing up. And, I think, like a lot of kids, I think, it was tough guys for sure. It was tough guys, but like they came in all shapes and sizes as tough guys, whether they were, good and honorable or not.
So let me ask you this. Who modeled masculinity for you? Like I'm hearing just hearing you talk, the way you talk about your dad, and you can't see it, but like I could see your eyes moving and like the way you talk about your dad, it seems like you have some great memories. Like who modeled masculinity for you? Was it your father?
Yeah, in some ways, right? And like I said, he was chill, so he I guess in terms of modeling, yes, like work ethic, right, being there for your people, your children, like he was similar to you. He ran mentoring programs like through the school all the time. He coached all the kids, I think. So in a lot of ways, like this was modeled for me in a really strong way and really positive as well, and not being too boisterous and being humble about things and stuff like that. So I think he passed on a lot of good traits to me.
Anytime I hear like if somebody else were to tell me my dad was a coach and a teacher, I would think the opposite. And like the way you're talking about your dad, I was like, man, I want to fucking meet that dude. Like he seems like somebody that you'd want to meet and hang out with.
He's chill, man.
Yeah, I love that.
He's a cool.
How did you first discover jiu-jitsu?
The first time was like quite random. It was like I was home for a bit.
This after college?
In between college.
So did you do, so let's talk about that real quick. So you did MMA strictly with a wrestling background? And it's like when you did your MMA fights? Or were you doing jiu-jitsu already?
No, so I had some introduction, right?
Okay, yeah.
And like my roommates were like good jiu-jitsu guys that fought MMA. But,
already? Okay.
But in terms of like a jiu-jitsu class and stuff like that, like it was just like a lot of like feeling what they were doing.
Sure.
Wow. I was trying to wrestle.
And you wrestled all your life, so it's pretty easy to pick up. Yeah.
And I had to really learn striking was what I had to learn. You know what I mean? Because I was terrible. You would think, with a couple of fights, but I think, so yeah, anyways, like I got introduced to it in like, it must have been 2012 when I moved to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And then, but like realistically, like taking a jiu-jitsu class, I dabbled. I had taken classes in the time period between moving from Hawaii to San Diego.
Yeah.
But really, like going to jiu-jitsu classes didn't start until 2015.
And when you started, were you at a strictly no-gi school, or were you doing, they make you do gi?
No gi, man.
Oh, no gi. So you never put the gi on?
I have.
Yeah.
I was never at a school that did it a lot. You know?
Oh, okay. So what felt different from you doing jiu-jitsu and wrestling? Like, what was the dynamic with you? Like, what did you feel that you had to overcome, or was there anything? Or were you just naturally a grappler?
Okay, so we're talking like strictly in terms of skills, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Jiu-jitsu was a really good fit for me personally because I wasn't beholden to like very strict wrestling principles like I wasn't like an Iowa style grappler.
Okay.
I was a very like flowy, principle based, scrambly, like kind of funky style. My best position was probably top position.
Okay.
You know, like I won some pretty wild matches of kids that like probably would have beat the crap out of me, but just because they took bottom position.
Yeah.
I mean,
all right.
And I didn't even know, and I turned them. You know, I had good tilts and stuff, and so like as far as mat wrestling, I was really good there. I wasn't particularly explosive or fast my whole life. That's why, you know, like or strong until like high school, and so
to your dad gave me that talk about the back of the Chris
until I hit puberty actually, but which was late, but you know, so a lot of my wrestling relied on all the in-between movements, you know, like it was like I had to like figure out ways to beat guys that were like a lot stronger, faster than me. And so I think it lended really well to jiu-jitsu, to like creativity, the mat wrestling, all this sorts of stuff. And I say a lot of more traditional wrestlers that maybe had those attributes early, they struggle with like moving away from that, playing guard and other stuff.
I see that a lot. So why did you pick 10th Planet? Did you already know that's where you wanted to go?
I had a good sample of it in Portland, Oregon. I lived there for a while, so I traveled around for a bit.
Oh, you did? Okay. Traveling around for school or just for training or
stuff?
Okay.
All of it's quite random.
Nice. Okay.
But Oregon was just because I was like running a trail crew lead for a nonprofit. Like we were building trails out there.
Okay.
Yeah. And when I was out there, the gym across the street was an MMA gym. I went there to do MMA. But Nathan Orchard and Phil Schwartz, two buddies of mine now, they're like 10th Planet guys.
Yeah.
They had a gym there. And so that's where I like first like sampled like jiu-jitsu classes.
Yeah.
Really, really solid jiu-jitsu.
Okay. All right.
And then so when I moved here, they had just opened 10th Planet San Diego.
Yeah.
I didn't know much about Boogie or Gio, but I was like, I love those.
I love those guys. When I was with Alliance, we used to do our no-gi training, and all those guys would come up.
I used to go up, man. I remember you selling it.
Yeah. And man, I used to love those guys. You guys are so fucking cool. I used to love training during those training times. So I could move like that. This was a few years back. What was like your first time training with Eddie?
Eddie, we technically like in terms of rounds, I've only done one round with Eddie.
What was that like?
My whole life.
What was that like?
It was just like me stuck in lockdown, not knowing what to do. You know, like didn't do nothing to me.
Yeah.
He's making damn sure.
Yeah.
Now I was like mostly just stuck in lockdown.
Yeah. What about with Boogie?
Boogie has like a particular set of skills.
Yeah.
Like are really dangerous.
Yeah.
He put them on me. Sometimes. But I adjusted over time to those skills. You know, it was meant to stalemate us out pretty well.
What surprised you most about that room training with those guys?
Boogie?
Yeah.
His way to like really bring people together and get them training. You know, like he had a real way about like I guess you could say motivating people, you know, like getting people active, getting people in the gym. He's a very determined person, you know, and when he wanted to like pack a class or build a gym, you know what I mean? Like he was so determined.
I've seen pictures of classes. There's got to be like 80 people in those classes sometimes. That's amazing.
And so the energy was always very high, you know, from Boogie, from everybody in the room, things like that. Yeah. He's really good at bringing people together in that way, and like, yeah, it was a very high energy situation. After some time, like I started when it just started there, so it was quite small.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I think me and my son were talking way over here, and I think you have the greatest fucking nickname in the world, right? And I think your nickname should be announced the motherfucking Butter Panther. But we're gonna talk about this real quick. Where'd that nickname come from?
Just my buddy that I lived with in Oregon.
Yeah.
Actually, I was competing at this, like, my first big, like, super fight type of thing. Kasai in New York.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And they wanted a nickname to announce.
Sure.
With the announcement and stuff. And I called him, like, on the spot.
Yeah.
And asked him, what's my nickname?
The best ones come that way.
And he says, it was quite fun. It was funny.
Yeah.
So
do you embrace it? Does it make you cringe? Do you embrace it? Like,
yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's cool.
So we talked about your style a little bit already. So, like your technical philosophy, are you hunting submissions or are you solving problems? Specifically when you're competing.
Solving problems. Yeah. I hunted submissions for a long time, you know, as a 10th planet person, but like now I'm solving problems.
Yeah, that's good. Do you think flow is skill or mindset?
I think that skills are needed to enter a flow state in some sense.
Like a good foundation.
And I don't know exactly what we mean by flow exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
So like when you're just going and you're not thinking about anything and you're able to just go, like when you get, so let's say a high level competition and you're not even thinking, you're just moving. You can't hear your coach, you can't hear the audience. You're just moving. What is that to you?
A little bit of both, like, entering flow needs to be like guided by a set of principles and ideas and skills and things like that. You know, you can't, like, obviously someone that is unskilled in any sort of practice, I don't think they would be overthinking and trying to figure something out.
Yeah.
And I think when you're guided by like solid foundations and principles, like you can get into that creative state where, you know, you can just operate like that.
What's that like for you can you remember a time when you maybe in a high level match, tournament or something like that?
Yeah, I
remember being in that. What's that for you?
It also comes with preparation too, you know?
Sure.
Just because, like, I think the best times in my life that I've maybe been there before was when I was the most prepared.
Yeah.
So you're feeling like quite confident.
How long does it take you? So let's say you have a super fight coming up or your preparation for Abu Dhabi. What's your camp look like? How far are you training?
Yeah. Historically, I've made a lot of mistakes with preparing for super fights. I mean, maybe like not historically, but in the last like 4 or 5 years, where I didn't take them as serious and didn't prepare a camp, and you know what I mean.
Okay,
kind of kept my training as usual, and I think I've suffered for that in some ways, maybe in terms of cardio, focus, preparation, all those things, and entering that state like you're talking, it becomes difficult. You get in your head a little bit, But for like ADCC and certain other tournaments and stuff, I've like really prepared myself quite well, and I think in those cases, like, you know, you feel way more confident into it, and you can do that. So typically, like, anywhere between 10 weeks, something like that, 8 weeks, something like that feels good.
So let's kind of move forward, and let's talk about something that's happening right now in our jiu-jitsu culture. But I just want to kind of stay with your gym. So I know you've built a strong women's team. Like, I see it's Professor Dawn, right? She has that women's class. I even saw I thought was an amazing idea. She did like a couples thing that went pretty good. It looked like it went pretty good.
They have another one on Saturday.
Do they? Okay. All right. We're going to announce all that stuff so we have those clips out there for you. So I know you built a strong women's presence in your academy. Was that intentional? Did you want a women's program in your academy? Did you want that to grow, or is that something that just happened organically?
Good question. I don't think I minded either way.
Yeah.
Like, I think in my mind, like, I just want to teach like jiu-jitsu
to anyone, right?
Like, care about it as well.
Yeah.
That is the most like efficient way possible.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make a big difference to me. I think that the counterbalance of like the masculine and the feminine, quite important.
Sure, 100%.
You know, if I could have it my way, then it would be like a really healthy, good environment that included both of these, for sure. So like, I don't think I had strong intentions one way or the other with it, but like, you know, lining up my ethics and like what I prefer and like to see and things like that. This is like, it was going how I think it would based on those principles.
Good. So what systems do you have in place? So by systems, I mean, like what guidelines do you have in place that women, when they walk into a gym, like they know this is a safe place for them?
Tampons in the restroom.
Yeah.
That was Donna.
It was funny. Well, you know what's so funny about that? So I've been over for 15 years.
I let her run it.
You need that, right? You need that. So one of the moms that came over and goes, "Hey, I made this little box for you." And I was like, so I'm thinking there's cookies in it. Like, what's in this box? Let me help you, right? There's hair ties. Yeah. There's a little brush. Yeah. And it's all...
You can be so toned out.
Yeah.
Donna sees it all.
And you need that, right? You need that. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. And like, so okay. I love that.
So I let her be the focus of that, man. In terms of like standards and stuff, man, I think that in a lot of these cases, like the standards that you set for yourself and the ethics that you set for yourself are going to bleed into all the instructors, all the people there. You know what I mean? I think like a lot of times people in our sport are a little maybe far removed from the real world in terms of like, maybe education, maybe like missing some like, never working in HR things. Like, it's just like they get a bit far removed and they get in this bubble, in this cycle.
So let me talk about that. Let's talk about that for a brief moment. Did you know you wanted to, was that like a goal that you had? Because at one point I had an association with nine schools in it. Half the guys in that association had other jobs. They just happened to be black belts. They lost their fucking job. Like, I'm gonna put them to school. That's not how you really like. That's like you have to like want to do it, right? Like you have to like you should have a game plan about it, right? And the other guys that's what they want to do. They are much more successful than the guys that are just like, oh, this is my last chance at life or whatever. Did you like talk to me about that process? Like, did you fall in love with it so much you're like, I want to be a coach? Or were you coaching and then someone offered you an opportunity? Like, what made you open up 10th in San Diego?
Yeah.
South Bay. Sorry, South Bay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
So, my dad was a teacher.
Yeah.
And like, I've always loved studying, teaching.
Okay.
I've loved this stuff. Like learning is a big
perfect
part of my life. And I think that like, probably there's a good chance I would end up being a teacher. Had like jiu-jitsu not been around. Or like, even when I was in college, like being a professor was probably like my goal. 100%, like doing research, being a professor, having students, you know what I mean? This would have been like a really, really cool, top-notch goal for me. When I started, but like I loved fighting and training and stuff. And so when I moved here, like I was in between what I was doing and what I was going to do in different ways and stuff. And, but I was like kind of winning jiu-jitsu things. But I didn't have a ton of not respect. Like I didn't understand jiu-jitsu and like what it could provide. And what it was. And you know what I mean? I didn't know where it was going.
Of course.
As well. In terms of like our sport, it was kind of niche. I mean, it still is, but it's different a little bit now. And so I was offered a position to like kind of take over and run a gym.
Oh, okay.
I had never even like taught a class really, maybe one jiu-jitsu class.
Really?
Like,
okay.
But they were buying out the people that I was with at 10th Planet San Diego.
Okay.
Were like buying out or like taking over in a gym in Spring Valley, like 20 minutes down the road.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that. Yeah.
And they asked me to kind of head the program up, and like because I was like unsure of things, I was like, you know what, let's like just full send this for a little while and see how this goes while we're still like physically able. I love the sport, so we'll see. That's kind of, so it kind of fell into my lap a little bit.
That's good.
I didn't have intentions to do it.
And so then from that to 10th Planet South Bay, how do we get there?
Well, they sold the gym. Like I took the like lack of a program that was there and built a really strong foundation program. And then whatever, just stuff happens. They sold the business, and then like a new group of people victory people or something, like somebody from another gym.
Yeah.
Came in and like brought their own instructor.
Okay.
All this kind of stuff. And, so it was like Saturday they told me about it. I have like 300-400 students.
Yeah.
I don't know, a bunch of students. Saturday they tell me about it. And Monday they tell me it's my last day.
Wow.
And that like they're taking over the program and stuff. And so, yeah, I just kind of got the outs like real quick there.
Wow.
Yeah. But like blessing in disguise, man. It's been
when I was at Victory and the reason I ended up opening my own place was I was at Victory. I opened Victory with Dean and Jocko and Sarge. Like I was the guy that taught all of Dean's classes, and I'll never forget. I had just had my oldest son, and I was there. I was teaching like 5-6 classes a day. And then we were partying like Wednesday through Sunday. Like it was bad. Like people know me for 2 reasons, either from partying or from jiu-jitsu, like, and then now for other reasons, but it was bad. That's how I got to meet so many people. And I'll never forget when it was all said and done. I had a great experience at Victory, but I went to go talk to one of the owners, and I said, hey, I feel like I'm not seeing my son, I'm not seeing my family, my wife at the time, and I really think I want to open my own place. And the person that I talked to said, you'll never make it. You don't have what it takes. And like all this other stuff. And I'm looking at this guy like, I was fucking running your program right? Like I was the guy running your program. And that set like a fire underneath me. And I was like, all right, and this year's our 15th year open, so yeah, I it's funny. I had that same like desire as a kid. If you look at my yearbook, it says circle 1 in 20 years. You're either going to be an FBI agent, a pastor, or a teacher. Like I always had a passion to protect people and to teach. Like that was always something that I always like love to do. Why is it important for women to train jiu-jitsu?
Obviously, the self-defense aspect is like one of the bigger ones. I do see like women that like really change and become more confident.
Yeah.
I think that like there's really strong communities built around women in gyms.
Yeah, it's good.
Like really, really strong communities. And like even my partner, my girlfriend, she struggles sometimes to find extracurriculars with the same level of community, She gets out and she does like whatever, the dance classes, this or that, but like it's not ever the same as like when you see a jiu-jitsu group. And they're like, they're doing they're friends.
Yeah, really hard.
Yeah. And so like there's a big communal aspect. Obviously there's a big self-defense aspect.
Yeah.
And yeah, like we're a bunch of dumb guys, man.
I'm not dumb, Professor.
We can't do this by ourselves.
Oh, we can't. We can't. I like it's the girls that like the girls were bringing flowers and put flowers. I was like, okay, yeah, that's great. Like I'll forget the soap sometimes, and the girls will bring like a bottle of soap and stuff like it's little things like that. That yeah, you're right. We need my format and my methodology or the way I teach is just based on self-defense. Like I was my story's out there, but I used to be a bodyguard and kidnapper for drug dealers, and that's why I started doing jiu-jitsu. And I've seen it on both ends, like how it can definitely save your life and how it can be used for the wrong reasons. Yeah. How many women do you have at your gym?
I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know. On a percentage basis, it's a small percentage.
For 100%.
We have like a lot of.
Yeah,
I have a lot of.
I think you have more than normal or whatever. I don't even want to use that word, but like when you see other jiu-jitsu academies, like that's why I'm trying to figure out like, what do you think? Is it because of Professor Dawn? Is you like I heard you kind of say you let her run with it. Like she brings that like she's like mother to those girls. Like
I think even before she was around though, like we had a strong women's group at Spring Valley.
Okay.
And like and now Donna has just like helped complement it.
Okay,
you know what I mean? I think that like she can talk to them.
Right.
Oh, so good. I don't talk to them unless it's about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, that's good. All right, let's get into the main reason I wanted you and I called you and wanted to talk about this. So it's my contention that for the past 30 years that I've been doing jiu-jitsu. I've been a black belt for 21 years, right? And when I first started jiu-jitsu, I remember doing what we call the Brazilian warm-up. 30-minute warm-up, had nothing to do with any moves that we did in jiu-jitsu. Then 3 movements or 3 techniques. In my entire life, I've never met anybody that got all 3 techniques that same day. Never, right? And then just open sparring. So like if I'm a white belt or blue belt, I'm training with a higher level belt, I never get a chance to even engage in that position that we just went over, unless the guy was really cool with me. And when I started, nobody was fucking cool with you. When I started end of 1995, like open sparring, like that open mat type of deal, you're dying. Like people are trying to kill you. If a lower belt tapped you, you were shamed. Like you didn't go back to the gym for like 2 months. Like it was horrible. And I always knew that for me, I had always felt in my heart, like that's not a way to learn. Like there's something missing here. There's something missing. And so when I started teaching, I started teaching a lot of situational drills, really still working on like foundational principles as far as like, well, this is what the Kimura is. This is let's drill this, but very quickly, now let's actually try to apply it from this position. And then even when we spar, we're starting this position. We're starting from the back, and there's a certain goal that we have to get to. And I've never even taught how to pull guard. Like I wrestled too. So like people, like there's some people I get a lot of backlash from times like, you don't even teach jiu-jitsu. I'm like, I teach hooks to my kids. Like if it works, I don't. I teach grappling. Like, and if it makes you tap, I just get to wear a gi. You know what I mean? It's cool because I feel like Americans want to come in and see somebody, and they want to see progression, right? They want to see whether it's going to be a different color rash guard or a stripe on the belt. Like we are kind of, we grow up in this culture of like, we want to see where my progression is. And I tell the parents, look, is your kid better than he was when he came in? Like, are you better than you are 2 weeks ago? Like that should be the progression. But I understand that, right? So that's why I have that. But I only discovered the term ecological jiu-jitsu like last year, NCLA last year. And when I found that, I was so relieved because I was like, oh, these are my fucking people. Like they understand. So I don't fully grasp everything yet, but what I've seen, man, I'm like, so I'm really big into neuroscience. I've been studying neuroscience for the past 2 years, and it's just, it started with, there's this book called Switch on Your Brain, and everything just falls in alignment. I had been doing that on my own, but once I realized it plugs very nicely and neatly into neuroscience, and that's actually how the brain works, I was like, I don't know why more people are doing it. So let's talk about, how do you teach differently now from when you first started coaching? Has it always been the same? What was your teaching style back when you first started in Spring Valley compared to now?
Yeah, it's night and day.
So were you doing like that old Brazilian style of your methodology? Like how would you run class before?
Yeah, I mean, to speak on what you said, like intuitively you got it right away.
Yeah.
Intuitively you're like, this something feels right about this. So it was the same with me, man.
Yeah.
And so like from the moment I started jiu-jitsu and started training in jiu-jitsu classes, so I knew that something was off about what was happening. I just, coming from the wrestling background where I felt like we played a lot of games, we structured them around certain things, the movements weren't so static and drilling. The way that the practice blended from, your light warm-up-y movements into live training and stuff like that. It was a smooth blend. And like, I think jiu-jitsu's like really suffered a practice and structural design, like practice design, structure design, things like that for quite some time.
Yeah.
And I understand that like it's a business, and I think that's why a lot of times it is that way as well, but like in terms of building skill and developing athletes and stuff like that, it always felt wrong to me as well. And like I was fortunate enough to have a lot of grappling experience and to be like pretty keen to understand how things work.
Yeah.
Very focused. Yeah. Very, very focused. And so like, it was easy for me as like to be more experienced and to learn a move and then just go practice those moves in the live, like doing rounds and stuff like that. But I couldn't imagine for somebody that didn't have grappling experience, maybe wasn't as focused for me. Like, what are they even doing? Yeah. Like what jiu-jitsu are they doing at that point? They're pretty much just like throwing shit at the wall and trying stuff, or like, and then doing the drilling. It just, I mean, like I had the same.
I believe that's the reason we have such a low or such a high number of people that don't stay in jiu-jitsu. Like it doesn't become fun for them. Like it's not fun for them at all. Okay, guys, we're gonna drill for 30 minutes. Who the fuck wants to drill for 30 minutes? Like, I get it. You will get good. There'll be some muscle memory there. I understand that, but like you're not gonna want to come back, right? Most people want to. What I've seen, especially like when I work with my guys, like I work with a lot of combat veterans that have PTSD and women that are survivors of rape and DV. They want to come in. They want to forget their problems at the door, and they want to just get after it, right? So we can do that while still learning, while building skill and getting better and having growth, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, with the CLA and the ecological jiu-jitsu style, as opposed to just like, why do you think no fucking purple belts come to the warm-up? Like purple belts don't come to the warm-up because they get it. At that purple belt level, there's something that happens between blue belt and purple belt and this is the reason purple belts don't show up. It's like that whole running joke, purple belts miss the warm-up, because they don't need the warm-up. They think, they understand I don't need it, but they don't know why they don't need it, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, I think they know why.
Yeah. Well, I think, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. Something, but they don't know how to express it, right? They're like, so I'm just gonna miss the warm up. You know, I'm like, yeah. And once we started doing like, all right, guys, our warm up is gonna be like just some guard passing. Oh, okay. I'm there. You want to go to your guard passing? Let's fucking warm up with your guard passing. You know, what does a class look like for you? Give me a beginner's, like a fundamentals or beginner. What do you call your fundamentals or beginners class?
It's level 1 or foundations.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So foundations, first day. How you running them through the class?
Yeah, I haven't put as much personal time into foundations, but like
you're dealing. So what you're saying is like
do level 2 and level 3
competition guys.
Yeah, I do level 2 and level 3, which I could speak more clearly on for sure. But like I can give you a brief overview.
Yeah, please.
Like what foundation?
Yeah, so somebody who is trying to understand when we talk about ecological and the CLA approach to jiu-jitsu. Let's speak about that first. Okay.
So it would start like as a broad framework.
Yeah.
And every day I do this with my classes as well. We do games from standing, we do games from guarded, and we do games from pinning.
Yeah.
Okay. And so from a standing position, it's anything that's like based on like foundational principles in terms of like, trying to figure out ways of moving stuff out of the way, the elbows, the head, right? And getting to center mass, the legs, the hips, things like that, and putting them down on the ground,
Yeah.
And so that's what the standing will be built around. Okay. And then we'd move on to a guarded position. Guarded position is just any time that your legs are still involved in the equation.
Yes.
Right. And so it could be like an actual guard. It could be an entanglement of the legs.
Right.
It could be any of these situations and stuff like that. And so we would play a game from there. And then we would play a game. We play a multitude of games probably from each one.
Yeah.
And then we would play games from pinning, which is just anytime the legs are now out of the way and we're either pinning their back to the mat or we're pinning our chest to their back.
Yeah.
And so those are the 3 areas that I want to be hit every class. Within those areas, like especially in a foundations course, what I'd be trying to like get students to understand that these are not separate.
Right. Yeah.
When we're wrestling and we're in a standing position, I'm just moving stuff out of the way to get to center mass.
Yeah.
When I'm passing your guard, I'm just moving stuff out of the way to get to center mass. And all the things are the same. Just when you're guarded, your feet are now also in the way.
Yeah.
And then from pinning, they're not out of the way. Now, how do we isolate limbs, strangle, keep them down?
Yeah.
It's like that. And so, trying to tie a nice thread between all of those is important to a foundational program as well, where I'm trying to get them to understand that these things aren't separate.
Right.
And we can apply them across the board in terms of just getting to center mass, isolating limbs, finding the neck, strangling, breaking, all like finding a limb, whatever it is. We're doing a lot of these same things from standing, from guarded, from pinning. And so how do we create like language? How do we create games?
Right.
How do we tie a thread between all of these in a way in which like we can really advance their learning in a fast way, that they don't compartmentalize each position and think that like they are different from each other.
Right.
Even though they are, but like they're similar in a lot of ways. So that would be like the broad framework for that class.
Okay, that's good. I like that.
I think that like people are just getting into this, you know, and most of like jiu-jitsu is just getting into this. But
it's Greg. Have you felt any pushback from students, or does all your students already just like, no, this is what we're doing? Have you felt any pushback, or have you gotten any pushback? Or
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
People talk smack.
Yeah.
I think, but it's the same way in which like I don't think they understand all the way what we're trying to do and why we're doing it this way. Maybe it's a bit hard for them.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And they want to like just drill and stuff. And that's understandable. But like I'm not there to cater to them.
Right, exactly.
I'm there to like help these guys build the best skills that we can, do it in the most efficient way that I can. And like you know, I think that the ones that trust me and the ones that trust the program, the ones that like they'll stick around.
I try to tell, so even though I have my own association, I'll get, and because I've been doing this for so long, guys from different schools will always call me for like advice and stuff, and I'll always tell them this, like, look, man, let's say you have 100 paying students, about 45 of those are like your fucking students. The rest of them because you're the closest one, because the girl that like, it's like, I go, you cannot change your philosophy or the way you teach or your style or whatever it is at your gym to cater to your students. You have to have a foundation. You have to have a goal, a philosophy, a methodology. And if it's structured correctly, the right people will come. But if you're all over the place, like, you know, I had a guy that had like 6 different programs for kids. And I was like, bro, you don't even, like, why do you have a Muay Thai program? Like, you like, for what? You're like, well, my parents want it. 2 parents want it, not the right. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, so yeah, that's it's really good that you are sticking to your, not sticking to your guns, but like, you know where you want to go, and you know why you're teaching it. You know, for me, it's very simple. That's just the way the brain works. Like the difference between implicit and explicit learning. You know, this is why like the 7 move guard pass nobody gets. Why? Because after 3, the brain's off. But if I show you, hey, just try to do what I'm doing here, and I want to get from A to B, I want to get from here to here. This is how I do it. Try to do that when we train. Now, the brain understands that much more better than the movements, than like the steps. And it's so hard, like you said, for people just to understand that, right? And so I'll just share and I talk, and we move forward. And I have gotten some pushback now that you know what the pushback is from Mosty? Just I use the word games now. Guys, we're going to play this game. I'm like, who the fuck doesn't want to have fun? Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
and that's where the language does come in.
Yeah, 100%. You know, with my kids have 10x themselves in the past year, just from the language and from like, because I used to be huge on kids on drilling, just huge on drilling, right? Because it's like, first of all, they're all over the place. And that was in my mind, that was a way to like keep them centered and have discipline. Yeah, but I don't want little robots. And you know what's crazy is I want to cry. I have more girls in my kids class than I do boys. And I have this girl, India, she's my yellow belt, she's my team captain. She's like, Professor, she's from her mom and dad are from London, and she was born here, but she has an English accent. Professor, look at this move I came up with today. And like, because I'm letting them be, and it's like, you're going to show the move right now. Like I let her show the moves. It's like, I love that. Like I can't wait to see this generation with this mindset and this understanding of how the brain works. I can't wait to see where they're going to be. Not in like 10 years, but in 5 years, like in 3 years. Like yeah, like you said, we're like on the stepping stone for that, right? And it's weird that you still get pushback. Like I tell people, you know, I had a podcast. I had another podcast, and I was talking about how, you know, how they make clips and just little shorts, and my short, it said something like, jiu-jitsu's been taught wrong in its entirety, you know, and I broke it down. I had like 10 people like, you're gay, you paint your nails. And I was like, okay, but did you listen to my fucking, what the neuroscience said? Like, it was hilarious. Like, you know, like it blew up everywhere. And I was just like, I remember my kids were laughing about it. And I was like, some guy's like, I'm not going to listen to some guy who paints his nails. Like, how about a guy that's been a black belt for 21 years, that's seen everything wrong? Like, this is not my thing. It's what the science says, you know, and it's the best way to do it, you know. And if you are a coach, if you are a professor, if you're someone that teaches, like if you're in leadership, you should want your students like to be better than you, like to have that route. Like for me, I remember growing up in the days when like if you tapped out your professor, your professor would come back and just beat your ass. I've seen it. Like I've seen high level guys get tapped by their students and then they hurt their students. I'm like, who the fuck wants to train there?
Yeah.
You know, like
I was gonna say I still do that. I don't hurt anyone. I don't hurt anyone, and it's in the nicest way possible.
No, but you still have to because you're still a competitor. Like I'm old now, right? You're used to. Look, I was there. No. That's gonna be clip number 1, right? I believe me, Professor. Like you ask my old school guys, like I used to lock the doors, and like people would, I just lock the doors. And you go through seasons, you go through when you have a lot of fun, and like at this point now,
I'm sure get wise.
Yeah, I'm so happy. Like I think both of my sons have both legitimately tapped me out once or twice, and that was like the best fucking day of my life. Like, when I had my kids and they're
proud.
Yeah, and I'm like,
I still have to whoop them.
Yeah. Hold on.
I would be proud.
Hold on. So my oldest son is getting ready to fight MMA. So he has three Muay Thai fights, and on Sundays I'm working 7 days a week. On Sundays I do kettlebells and Muay Thai spar, and I came downstairs on Sunday, and these two were down there, and my youngest son goes, "Come on, old man," and he's in top level shape right now because he's got his Muay Thai fight coming up. And he's pushing my buttons. I go, "Dad, I just fucking hit the bells and I just sparred." "Come on, old man." I was like, if I go put my fucking rash guard on, I'm going to give you my A game. And it's going to be about 30 seconds. I go, every single time I roll with you, we're just rolling pop because it's in class. If I go put my rash guard on, he's like, "That's right. It's going to be So I go put my rash guard on. How long did it last, Pop? Not 30 seconds, right? It's on Instagram too. It's funny. He's like, yeah, it's funny. It was really nice to him. I was like, "Dad, I go, but then I was done for the fucking day." You know what I mean? I like people like saw that and I'm like, look, when I'm teaching a class, and I'm teaching 2-3 classes a day, like you get my D game on my scene because if I'm gonna roll with everybody, if I give you my A game, I'm done. Like that's tournaments, for me, right? But I love teaching. There's nothing better than like, for me, when I see like the kid, because I work with a lot of kids that get bullied, right, with the school systems, and I actually work with the bullies also. But man, Professor, there's nothing better. Like, look, when an athlete comes in, he wins a medal for you. Like, okay, you probably could have been good at badminton or football, right? He's a superstar athlete. But when a little kid comes in that's been bullied, that walked in with their head down, didn't want to see anybody, and that first time they pull off that first armbar, I live for that, Professor. Like I eat that.
That's so meaningful, man.
Yeah, I love that so much.
Because you probably felt it like I felt it.
Yeah, yeah. What's the one thing that jiu-jitsu has taught you?
It's a broad question.
Yeah. If somebody knew nothing about jiu-jitsu and said, "Why should I do it?" Like, what's the one thing, like beyond the mat though, what's the one thing that you've learned that jiu-jitsu has taught you?
From my personal experience, if you can find a thing that matters to you, that you care about, that you enjoy, and you can put the time into it that it takes to be great at it, that can then be your vehicle to make money, to create community, to help people, to do what you need to do. To what extent, everybody's going to be different.
Yeah.
But, I think being able to find something that you care about and really, I guess, like mastery of craft.
Yeah.
If you can master something that you care about and you see as good in this world, like it can be your vehicle for a lot of things.
Yeah.
And again, like the extent doesn't matter. Like whether it's like whatever you're doing, maybe you shoot for the stars and land at the moon, but
not on Earth anymore.
I think that's probably a good broad way overall to look at how it's affected me and what I've learned.
As a business owner, do you? Because I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I want the people to hear it. So like coming from an educational background, your father's a teacher, right? As a business owner, how do you raise your leadership lid and like your emotional intelligence? Are there things that you're doing? Are you reading? Um, how are you becoming the best version of yourself to lead your army, but not just your army, but to be a good, like, I've seen a bunch of great world champion guys that have had their gym for 2 years and it crumbles, or they never raise their leadership lid. How are you doing those things to like become the best version of yourself, not just for yourself, but for your team that you're leading?
Yeah. I think it comes with like time and wisdom and like dealing with your own demons, like
Sure.
I think that like probably personally like having, whatever struggles I've had growing up and stuff, this has led me to need to deal with my own self a lot and my own demons, like I said, and things that I just had to overcome in different ways and stuff. And I think that like the time that I put into that for myself has given me a really good understanding of how humans operate, what humans need in life, and what makes people tick, and you know what I mean? And the balance between good and evil, and you know what I mean? Like just seeing people for who they are and being able to
That's important.
And understand them a little bit better. And then from there, like just being able to take people at who they are, and work with them from there. And I think that like being able to operate from that position, oftentimes like it starts at the top and trickles down.
100%.
Maybe they see how I treat people and how I am with people and stuff like that. And, and then that's what we expect out of them. Like the higher belts in the gym or the instructors, people.
What anchors you when life gets heavy? We talked about dealing with demons, and maybe you're not dealing with them now, but when life gets heavy for you, what anchors you?
These days, I guess if we're speaking in like a spiritual sense, like, growing up, it was like going back to God and asking for forgiveness, or,
Sure.
For a long time growing up, I grew up Catholic. And then I had like mentioning struggles, like I had lots of struggles with God and who he was, who like the church was, all this kind of stuff, and then I got back to like somewhere around like Eastern religion and philosophy, and this helped me through like some really tough times personally as I became like a young man, adult, and things like that. And I think that helped ground me a lot, and I think still does ground me to this day a lot. I think that like I'm in a process of understanding now what God is to me, and spirituality.
So let me ask you this, right there. Let me ask this. So when we're talking about identity, who is PJ? Like, who are you?
Geez, just a little creature floating around in a rock, trying to figure it out with everybody else, man. Like I think we're all just like that, I don't know. We have some sort of sense of who we are and some sort of identity, and it's probably quite different from who we actually are and what people perceive us to be. But just a guy trying to get his needs met, you know what I mean? And just out here like trying to survive in some ways, and give back as I do find wisdom and placement with myself, and become a little bit more assured with who I am, and how I feel about things and what my feelings actually are, and and come from a place with like more resources than I used to and things like that. Trying to help other people get a better understanding of people and who they are.
We're all on that same rock, huh? What keeps you showing up when nobody's watching?
It used to be a chip on my shoulder. Like a really nasty chip on my shoulder, man.
That falls off though, right? Eventually that falls off.
Yeah, and it gets harder to show up.
Yeah.
It's the crazy part.
Yeah.
When you're young and you have a lot to prove, and you're scary and you're like unsure and you're more insecure, all this kind of stuff, like, man, going for that run at midnight and your body moves better to going for a run at midnight and showing up to work at 6 a.m. the next morning and whatever it was, like, was a lot easier then, because everybody has different levels of like trauma, whatever, and just like things like that motivate them and get them moving to do this kind of stuff and do what they're doing in life. Because like as humans, we are biologically wired to want to relax, save energy, find the quickest dopamine.
Exactly.
You know, like you're not wired to be active.
No.
Like we're wired to like find that food, use as little energy as possible, and then rest, chill, sleep, procreate.
Yeah.
And so we're fighting biology a little
100% every day. Yeah.
And so like when I like you know, as a young man, this was quite easy for me because I was stressed and I was hungry, man. But like now it's the people around me, the people that I care about, you know, and just like just people that have been around for me and doing something for them.
Yeah, that's good, Professor. I used to want to have a successful gym just so I could show the guys that told me I wasn't going to be successful. And after a while, that burns out. And then I realized, I'm doing this off the energy of somebody else. And then not until I found my identity and then my purpose, I was like, oh, this is why I'm doing this, because I have a purpose. This is what my purpose is. And then I don't even run my gym like a gym. My gym, I run like a ministry. It's a nonprofit. We just teach people jiu-jitsu. I love it, man. Before when we had like the biggest competition for kids and stuff, we had killers, like just fucking, you know, for sure, killers. And now I went to Missouri on that sabbatical, and I did all these tests, and I found out I was on the spectrum. I was like, that makes fucking sense. Yeah, I get it, right? And so I work with a bunch of kids for the regional center, and I don't have the killers in my class anymore, but I got little fucking kids having fun, man. And I show up for them. You know, when I was dealing with my addiction, I wouldn't even show up for myself. You know, it's hard to show up for yourself when you're dealing with addiction. And there'd be two parents that knew what I was going through, and they would send a video of their kids. Hey, Professor, we miss you. Want to see you in class. And that was powerful for me. Like, that was one of the things that kept me from fucking putting a bullet in my head, you know. But nowadays it's because I know my purpose, and I'm just thankful I got a second chance and I get to show up. And some of the older coaches that have been with me for the entire 15 years, like, you know, they're frustrated with the kids, and I'm like, hey, you don't have to be here. One, two, like I'm done, like, just wanting tough guys and athletes. Like, they can go anywhere else, man. Like, we got a different philosophy here. Like, we get the kids that like I got a couple of adults that like wouldn't have made it anywhere else because we give them so much grace. But like, I think for me, I think for anybody, the wrong reason to do anything is to prove anybody wrong, right? Like, you have to just find your purpose and be able to like say, this is what God made me for. This is what I was built for, created for, and run with that, man. And I want, like, my dream, if you ask me, like, how do I want to die? I want to die rolling on the mat with my little guy or my big guy. Just that's it. Like, that would be probably traumatic for them, but for me, it'd be a great fucking thing, you know? Professor, what was the hardest season of your life?
I've had a couple, man.
Yeah.
Probably I dealt with like a pretty strong bout of OCD, you know, like I've always been like kind of OCD and anxious and a perfectionist, you know? But like, I would say it like nearly took over my life, like 2016, 2017 or something like that. And then like right into tearing my ACL and things like that. And, kind of feeling like very alone out here in San Diego. Like, I had moved here with a girl I was with for 4 years. And then like that ended, I decided at the same time to commit myself all the way to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But at the same time I was dealing with like all the OCD problems and like dealing with, you know, a lot of loneliness, man.
Sure.
You know, like a lot of loneliness and family being so far away and not too much like grounding features here and stuff. And then like being in like a kind of a weird dark place at the time was was challenging.
How'd you get through that?
Therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, therapy gave me like a much better understanding of what my brain was doing to me.
Therapy's great, right? Like, I believe everybody should be in therapy. Everybody. Because you're going through something, you're coming out of something, you're about to get into something. Like, I have a men's group on Saturday, and like most men, most of the guys that come, it's like half of the guys that come go to church, the other half got hurt by church, they're dealing with some type of trauma, or they're in my PTSD program. And I even got like a couple of Muslims and a couple of atheists that come. And like, I'll talk to them, hey, you want to come to my group? Is it a Bible study? Well, look, we do talk about God, but are you a guy? He's like, yeah. You got a girl? Yeah, you got problems. You got money? You got a job? Yeah, you got problems, right? Like, it's like just getting together and being able to share. I used to be I have a degree in counseling. One of my degrees in counseling. And I used to, for some weird reason, think if I needed therapy, then there was something wrong with me, right? And man, I didn't get therapy. I didn't get therapy for a long time. I think that was a reason I had a really huge decline in my life for a number of years. And once I started to share, right, there's something about being with somebody else and just sharing what you're, even if they don't give you advice, right? Because there's therapy like that. You just get to share. There's something very relieving about that, you know. Are you still doing therapy?
I don't do any therapy currently.
No.
I think like for me, man, it can be. I think that therapy can be an amazing tool.
Yeah.
I think that like the tools it gave me to understand my brain and deal with emotions, and like to like cognitive based therapy. I guess so helpful, man. Psychology in general is like a really good tool. But it also like sometimes I felt like it was becoming a lot of a crutch for me.
Okay.
It was becoming like I needed like assurances, validation.
Sure.
You know, and I needed to probably also find people in my life that I could talk to about things. That were not going to like obviously like judge and have too many opinions and stuff like that. But like, yeah, I think the right therapist at the right time for the right reasons is an amazing tool, man. Personally, like, not anymore. Probably could brush up on some things and stuff like that, but she gave me a lot of like, she was a really like, she was a professor, you know, like a Harvard graduate or some shit. Like she was like a really sharp lady, man. And she really gave me a lot of tools to deal with things and talk about things and figure out just what's going on in my brain. And that plus like I said, like the philosophy that I got into at the time and my understanding of psychology, but like I didn't want to ruminate in that, you know. My OCD caused me to like ruminate a ton. And I think like the amount I was like re-diagnosing myself with things or thinking about psychology too much or philosophy too much was actually holding me back from being present and living life too. You know what I mean?
So let's talk about that real quick, right? Being present is an art form. I truly believe being present is an art form. Too many people don't understand that, and they're worried about something that they can't change in the past or something that hasn't happened yet in the future, and they don't understand how to be present. Jiu-Jitsu teaches us how to be present, right? Like when you're actually rolling and someone's strangling you or about to break your arm, or you're in that possibility, like you're not worried about the fucking payment on your car or your kid that didn't, get his straight A's. Like, and I really feel that, man, we lose our life. People will lose their life not being present, ruminating on the wrong things, right? And like what you focus on expands, right? That's neuroscience. And so when I was dealing with my addiction, all I was worried about was the things that I did and the things I was going to do, and not, I lost the marriage because I
chased that dopamine.
Yeah. And that was one of my biggest lessons I learned, is learning how to be present. When I get home now, I put my phone away, and that's hard to do because when I was younger, I'm
a better man than me.
Yeah. When I was younger, I don't think it was easy, Professor. But when I was younger, I'll never forget the first commercial for a laptop. And the laptop, it was a guy at the beach saying, you'll get to spend more time with your family. And nothing could be further from the truth, right? With laptops, and like it takes you away from your family, right? I truly believe being present is the art form. If jiu-jitsu disappeared tomorrow, what would you do?
God, I'd hope I'd have enough money
to retire.
We just
That was, that was great.
I don't think I do
though. What would you teach? What would you do if jiu-jitsu got banned? There's no jiu-jitsu tomorrow.
It would really depend. Like, okay, so tomorrow I don't have enough money to do like what would like the real hopes and dreams be for things.
We need to get some sponsors for the Butter Panther.
Good question, man. Would I go back for another vocation of some sort? Would I get involved in like business, something really entrepreneurial at this point? I do feel like I've learned a ton about like owning, operating businesses, managing people, things like that. And I think I've gotten pretty good at this. Obviously this, like, you need capital and you need skills to do this.
100%.
And so like, I don't know what that looks like. Maybe there's an opportunity for me there to like get into something entrepreneurial, but, yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe, yeah. Anything else would require more school, and like, I don't know if I'm ready for. Yeah, they don't make enough ADHD medication for me for that, bro.
What kind of culture? What kind of culture do you want your gym to be known for?
There's always like I don't want to say like an angel and a devil, but there's always like competing aspects of that, you know what I mean? Like, I want to have
like let me restructure that. Let me rephrase that. When people talk about 10 Planet South Bay, what do you hope to hear? Like, what are some of the things that you hope to hear about 10 Planet South Bay?
I think the answer is going to be the same though.
Okay, let's go.
It's some combination, which I don't know how well it's ever like it gets done. Yeah, but some combination of like a family friendly, safe environment where like there is community, people can feel like they can, trust in the employees and trust in the instructors, and and has a culture of a family, right? But I also want us to be large enough to be competitive, and large enough to have a competitive team and things like that. And
let me stop right there. You know what the beautiful thing I took away from that is that the competitive part, and that came last. Like that was, and I think that
the foundation is
that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. Yeah, that speaks volumes. Like,
yeah. So I mean, we'll see. I haven't seen it. It's people do all right with it. Sure. Yeah. I will say people do all right. There's good competitive teams out there that have good environments, but it's a very challenging thing to do in a lot of ways, and you deal with a lot of stuff. So,
Do you know JJ Anglin?
Of course. Yeah. That's my boy. Yeah. That's my boy. A crazy kid.
Yeah, we can talk about it. We're going to talk about him offline. He's my pastor's. He started with Noah when he was little. Then
I know TJ.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So he, he's just. I don't know why I was looking at you. Just thinking of JJ.
Because we and him are a lot the same. I'm not gonna lie. He's got a lot of the same demons, but he's a great.
He's a great guy. I love that kid. I love him. I just saw him not too long when he came back. So. Let's do some rapid fire questions real quick, and we'll end kind of with this. Your favorite submission?
Oh, submission.
Yeah, favorite submission.
The one that works, man.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Least favorite position?
I'm not good at these because I actually like.
You're thinking really hard.
I am too, man. I'm like, they're all kind of good in some ways, but buggy chokes is definitely my answer, though.
Okay. All right. Your hardest row ever. Who was that with?
Hardest, like in the gym?
Yeah. No, just in general, like your hardest row, like in the gym, tournament, whatever. Who gave you who do you never want to fucking train with again? One of those rows.
Ronaldo Jr. and the Gi.
Okay. Who taps you the most? Like nobody. Come on, guys. Like nobody. I'm like,
it was his top secret.
Coffee or pre-workout?
Coffee for sure.
Okay, this is the easy one. Gi or no gi?
No gi.
Advice to 18-year-old PJ.
Just keep living it, man. You'll be all right. I'm not changing anything with that kid, man.
That's good.
There's nothing I can tell.
I love that. All right. Advice. Look at the camera. That's your camera right there, Professor. That's your camera. Advice to women thinking about starting jiu-jitsu.
Just go do it, man. I think take a look around, do your research, make sure like there's other healthy females in there. And make sure you do your research, but just show up and go do it. It's going to be good in most cases.
All right. And the last one, Professor, one sentence to your younger self.
It's going to be all right.
That's good. Professor, thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
It was a pleasure.
You run a good shit, man.
This has been your Grappling with Grace Jiu-Jitsu Culture Edition with Professor PJ Barch, the motherfucking Butter Panther. Thank you, guys.